started to talk about this idea that like, okay, well, we should get started investing because eventually one day, I don't know how long it'll take or when, but eventually, theoretically, if you had enough in investments, the interest or income or whatever you want to call it from that could theoretically be enough to pay for all of your bills, right? So like it could one day replace our job. So we were kind of like thinking about a long-term view. We weren't thinking like, well, how can we use this money right away? So we thought of it as a long-term thing, and we actually went into a big bank and talked to a financial advisor there, and because we didn't really know that much about any of this stuff. And we figured that makes sense. So we went in, and this person, of course, unbeknownst to us, works based on commissions. Yep. And, you know, their entire motivation is basically to sell you into something that gives them a big cut of it. Yep. And that's exactly what happened. So we ended up getting sold into, strangely enough, for 21 or 22-year-olds, we got sold into a bond mutual fund. An actively managed bond mutual fund. And it had like a load fee and like a pretty high expense ratio, and it didn't perform so good. But within like, I don't know, 6 or 12 months of that, we started to kind of read like blogs and stuff online and learn a little bit more about simpler, lower cost investing alternatives like index funds and stuff like that. And pretty soon after that, just because like I kind of became obsessed with it and started reading a lot about it, we ended up getting out of that and getting into some better investments. But that's how it started out for us. We just walked into a bank and started asking some questions.
So note to anyone out there who's listening, do not walk into a bank or don't seek a financial advisor, because that's exactly what happened to me as well. And I, you know, back then, this was like 10, 15 years ago, and they didn't have blogs everywhere, you know, where, you know, fire and all of this stuff wasn't like a big topic. And so I didn't have those resources. So, you know, anyone out there who's listening is thinking, you know, I want to dip my toes into investing, don't go to a financial advisor, because they will never talk to you about the things that can actually really make you a ton of money, because they're not incentivized to do so.